Hey, welcome back to Daily Hope. Can I invite you today to dream? Dream big. What do you think God might have for your life? What do you think God's best for your life is? Yesterday we saw the verse, 1 Corinthians 2, that says, "Eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor has it even entered into your imagination the things that God has prepared for those who love Him." Now, we know that the best things God has prepared for us are in the next life, in kingdom come. It's the eternal treasure, the eternal reward that we can invest in. And yet we saw the true story of the Cathy family, founders of Chick-fil-A, who prioritized God by tithing, by being closed on Sunday, which, by the way, wasn't a command of Scripture. That's a great example that as we each pray about, God, what is my breakthrough gift? It looks different for everyone, but the question for you is, are you in a place where you say, Christ, it's you above all? And for the founder of Chick-fil-A, he just felt like, even though there's not a Bible verse that commands it, for me, God above all means my business is closed on Sunday. And ironically, God has blessed that. Did you know that the only restaurant chains that bring in more revenue than Chick-fil-A are Starbucks and McDonald's, which are both publicly traded stock market companies? And neither of them have nearly as fat of a profit margin. Chick-fil-A is just this unicorn of just churning out $1 billion of cash profit a year. And it was humbly built by hard work day after day, 6 days a week, not 7, and putting Christ above all. You know, when I think of that verse, what could God do? I just want to let you in on one of my prayers for my life. It's one of the things that I hope God has paved for me on the road, and I want to invite you to be part of it with me. My prayer is that at the end of my life, when I'm an old man, I look back, and there are so many connection point locations around Indiana overflowing with young families on fire for God, being led by people who are elementary aged today, and we raise them up for Christ, and they're leading the state of Indiana. They are lawmakers, they are homemakers, they are culture shapers. My prayer is that at the end of my life, I'm able with my wife Mel, when we're in our 80s or 90s, to look back and say, with God, together with God, we changed a state by changing a generation, teaching them to love Christ and expand His kingdom. In fact, my prayer gets even a little bit bigger. What God's doing in our church is so unique. The tools for raising the next generation, we're seeing it work in every suburb that we expand to. My prayer is that this model to change the state of Indiana, that we'd be able to give it away to churches in every other state, and that there would be a nationwide revival of Christianity with millions of young people, every major metro area full of young people who are on fire for Christ, and that we'd get to be part of that. That's what I'm praying for. That's my Chick-fil-A sized dream. Well, part of our path as a church is making these breakthrough gifts to God over this next 2-year season. And I truly believe as we do that collectively, it's going to keep us on the path of the God-sized things that He's planned for us as a movement. As you pray about your breakthrough gift to God, let it be a love offering to Him. And then Deuteronomy 16, verse 17, let this be something that God speaks to you today. It says, each of you must bring a gift in proportion to the way the Lord your God has blessed you. So, to quote Jesus, who said this same principle, to whom much is given, much is required. Now, it's easy if you've been given much to say, well, look, I'm giving a lot more than everyone else. But how about as a percentage of your net worth or your net wealth? Are you actually giving in proportion? The more you have, ironically, the more you think you need. But the more you have, actually, the more you can give away and have enough. So each of you must bring a gift in proportion to the way the Lord your God has blessed you. I want to point something out to you. Every day at the end of this, there's a button you can click. And every other day right now, it goes into a deeper sermon from me, a full 40 or 50 minute sermon. And then every other day, it clicks through to the vision page where you can make a commitment. I want to encourage you, especially if you're not able to be at one of our Indiana locations, to make a commitment to the work of God as a love offering in your relationship to God, saying, God, I love you and I want to make a sacrificial gift. I'm not going to give that which costs me nothing. I'm going to give in proportion to the way you've blessed me. So if you've given me more, of course I'm giving more in dollars, but I should actually also be giving much more in percentage than those who maybe don't have as much. Each of you should give in proportion. God will show each of us what that looks like, just like he showed Truett Cathy to be closed on Sundays, and he has taken care of him and his family as a result. I'll see you tomorrow.